So let's talk about how weed destroys self-awareness. Anyone that's ever gotten high knows about memory loss, right? You know, when you're high, this is very, very common. It makes it harder for you to remember what you were just talking about. But the other thing is it can also make it harder for you to remember your experience, your reflections, and the learnings you had from when you were high afterwards. So it's like, great, you got high, you got all this amazing insight, but then like, what? So what that does is obviously limiting your awareness about yourself and your life. Another thing that anyone who's gotten high knows that it's very easy to get distracted. It's hard to focus. Like, let's not be like two ways about it. If you're super high, you definitely are not going to be able to focus as well as you would if you weren't. Now, I know there's some people that are going to be like, well, I have ADHD and weed helps me. Dude, you get into a zone when you get some like good focus for the weed, but it's not permanent. It doesn't just last like 2 hours. It's like 10 minutes maybe at most. If you're saying that only that 10 minutes is enough for you and the other like 2 hours of your high, which where you're like just completely not there, is benefiting your life, then I can't really have anything to tell you. Where was I? See, I lost my spot. See, I smoked some weed right before I recorded this and now I lost my spot. I got easily distracted. See, fucking easily distracted, guys. Like point in case, like on recorded evidence that when you're high, you're distracted. No doubt about it. So you're gonna come and tell me, bro, like it doesn't distract me, bro. I like laser focus for hours. Like I'm on Adderall or some shit. It's like, bro, who's capping? Another way that weed can destroy your self-awareness is about heightening your emotions. Now we have to keep it very objective here. Weed heightens emotions, both positive ones and the negative ones. So both of those get amplified, and that can definitely cloud your judgment and your rational thinking when you're overtaken by a strong feeling that's dominating your awareness. And you might forget about like the subtle realizations about yourself. Maybe something that you made progress on, like you were confident about yourself, and now all of a sudden you're in some disarray. You like lost your character and your confidence. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Maybe you became more arrogant, or maybe you started to go down this route of self-pity. I don't know. It's different for everyone, and every time is different. But you have to remember that this is a side effect. Heightened emotions. It can be a great thing. Like I said, positive and negative emotions get heightened, so you don't always get to choose which emotion you were going to feel next. You almost never get to choose. But at the same time, you have to, if you know this about yourself, that okay, when I get high, I might lose my memory, I might get easily distracted, and I'm definitely going to feel a lot more. If you're aware of that, then sit back and bro, watch the inner climate, watch what's happening within you, and that's how you actually heighten your self-awareness. One of the other ways that weed can destroy your self-awareness is when you develop this fuck it mentality. How many of you know this? You get high and you're just like, man, fuck it. Like you had some problem that you maybe didn't want to deal with or whatever. You got high, now you don't really give a shit about it as much, right? Like Cat Williams, one of the comedians I love on this topic, he talks about it. It's like, I'll
be crying about bills you can't pay. Just I don't know what I'm gonna do about this light bill. They want the whole thing. They don't want a piece of it, a deposit. Just hit the blunt one time and see if it don't change your perception of what's important in your life. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this life. Fuck them goddamn life.
That fucking attitude usually goes something like no motivation, or you're low motivated. Even for like making small progress in your life, and even for like trying to do better, you're not motivated at all because you just have this fucking attitude. Who cares? Let's get high. Fuck it, bro. I don't really give a shit. I just want to smoke some weed and chill. You might not know the harmful effects of that pattern in your life if it's never been checked. So that fuck it mentality, it's got its benefits, but it's definitely got some downsides. So an example could be like, imagine you're someone in college right now. You come home, you unwind, you get high just so you could get rid of that pressure that you feel from all the schoolwork and the relationships that you had, the girls you're chasing and all that good stuff. When you're high, like your worries melt away, you feel more relaxed, you can like text your girl like some nice things because you're in a different mood, But guess what? The moment you start coming back from your high, the stress comes rushing back because nothing has actually changed. You haven't actually become a better person because you don't really use this thing that intentionally. It's a temporary band-aid. You gotta use it if you're gonna do it, man, to like see if it'll heal you for something, right? So that way you don't need to get high to run away from little things. Maybe you exercise. Check out the video about exercise. I don't know. Now I want to talk about how do you use weed to actually build your self-awareness. Now this is going to require you to be high, but obviously you can do some of this stuff not high, but this is going to require you to be high, and then you do this. First thing you want to do is you want to give an intention for why I'm getting high. Like, okay, today is Sunday and it is 4 p.m. and I've done a lot today, and I'm going to get high and I'm going to spend the rest of the evening, cooking dinner and spending time with my family. Maybe that's your reason, right? Like, and so you do it with some intention because you've like given yourself a goal, you accomplished it, and this was your like reward for yourself. Another example could be like, let's say you're at a phase in your life where you're trying to plan the next part of what you want to be doing. What vision do you want to set for yourself? Especially let's say you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you have a partner, you want to do this together. Maybe set the intention that, hey, we're gonna get high, but before we do that, we're gonna get organized, we're gonna have notebooks, we're gonna have like scrapbooks, whatever we're gonna do. We're gonna, have a laptop handy so we can look things up real fast. And we're gonna envision what we want out of our life. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna get a little loose and then go at it. Like you've set an intention for exactly what you're gonna do. What you might find when you come out of this on the other side is that you really were able to open up your stream of consciousness, your thoughts without any interruption consumption, and you don't know what you're going to uncover, right? But if you were prepared to kind of capture it, it's like, all this rain is about to fall of wisdom or insight, potentially, let's just say, right? If you weren't able to sift it, catch it, whatever, process it, how are you going to get any value out of it? You're just going to forget it when you come down from that high. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. We're trying to actually get better. So this is one method that you can use, is setting an intention of why we're getting high in the first place. And look, I'm not here to say every time you get high, you have to set an intention, but all I'm saying is, at least know what you're doing consciously. Like if you're just getting high because you're like, bro, it's Friday night, I'm going to just get high and chill and watch TV. That's fine. At least consciously set the intention of what you're doing and why, right? Don't just mindless be like, oh, I just grab my pen, I don't even think about it, and I just, while I'm doing everything. Like that's being compulsive. That's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to raise our self-awareness, and this is a way you can do it. Another way that you can access your inner wisdom is by journaling when you're high, because what you can do is you can write and capture the stream of consciousness that you have, your thoughts, and go deeper within yourself, and do this without judgment. Your normal day-to-day judgments and your ideas about what you feel can be loosened up a bit when you're high, right? And that can allow yourself to really go into parts of your thoughts that you maybe haven't been doing otherwise. It can really let you flow on paper, but you want to be able to capture this. Now, I do prefer paper and writing, but my handwriting is kind of shit. So if you're a fast typer like me, maybe typing will work better for you. But I like the aspect, of being able to draw stuff and all. But hey, if you got really advanced, you got an iPad with a stylus, like the pencil and all that, go nuts. Other things you could do is definitely record a video while you're high and then just like watch it back, or record a voice memo. That's pretty easy because people don't want to really set up a camera or whatever. Just some ideas, but you want to capture the thought. Now, one thing I have to say is if you do this every day, you're like, I'm gonna get high all day every day and I'm gonna do this, it's not gonna work. It has to be a special experience, right? That's why obviously the next point I want to make here is less is more. You have to also be familiar with who you are when you're not high, your regular self. You have to really know what that's like so that you can gauge and know the difference between, you high and not high. So smoking less often is actually beneficial here because when you do consume it, you're going to blast off. So keep in mind that you want to combine some time off, regular time off, with your consumption. Like spend your time observing your unaltered awareness so that way you know what your baseline is and what we're comparing against. When you're high, the best thing you can do is observe whatever is happening within you and around you without reacting. Now, some people might call that meditation because it kind of is, but this could be a simple and effective way. Just focus on your breathing and notice how this high that you're feeling affects your attention, affects what you see, the colors, sensations. Things are brighter now. Things are a little bit more sharp. Whatever, that luminosity that you're feeling after getting high, right? Really observe that, but just don't react. Like really sit still. You feel a strong emotion, just sit with it. One of the best things that I like to do to increase my self-awareness with weed is have a conversation with a close friend or Mimi, my wife, and we will talk about things in an open state of mind. And because I have a little bit of weed in my system, it can actually help me with some great insights that maybe I didn't have before. It can help me listen more openly, listen from a new perspective, and realize that, okay, something that I maybe didn't notice before is there for me. So I think that's another really good way to raise your self-awareness when you're high, is to actually have conversation. And if you're doing this with your friend circle and there's not really much of a meaningful conversation, maybe you need to find better people to have conversations with when you're high so that this can actually be an experience of bettering yourself for you. Raising your self-awareness while high, a great way to do that is by being active. By being active in nature, going on a hike, going on a walk on a familiar path, and noticing the things that you haven't really noticed before. Like take the walk that you take around your home every day and then really notice that, wow, I never noticed that there were these purple flowers here. I didn't even realize that this flower had bloomed already. You start to see things differently. You don't have to make labels and judgments about it, but just see what you notice and observe what's happening in your environment around you. It's a really great way to perceive life kind of in a new way again. And it can be very illuminating. It can actually help you raise your self-awareness. And then the thing you want to do is, when you notice yourself coming down from your high, watch that. Notice your thoughts. Do they tell you to get high again? And this will show you if you're just compulsively jumping on whatever your thoughts tell you, or you're actually taking a step back and being more conscious about your decision on getting high. And see if you can check in with yourself in that moment again and again and notice that, hey, I can still experience this whole arc of the high and the crash and how my life continues to revolve regardless of whether I'm high or not high. And then maybe you can take some of that elevated awareness that you gained while being high into the rest of your life. I just want you to keep in mind that everyone has a different effect with weed. So not all the strategies I've mentioned here are going to work for everyone, but find out what works for you, because trying new things and going at it with a growth mindset is going to help you grow and continue to learn about yourself as you go about life. And that's really how you raise your self-awareness over time. It's not a one-time activity. It happens over time. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found something meaningful in here, and I would love to hear your personal story around how you use weed, what it does for you, if you've been trying to take a break or not, and how that's worked out for you. Let's have that conversation in the comments of this video.